Snapchat invented this crap.
Right.
Like, and how sad is it that Facebook can just buy a company and then just once they've got Instagram, they just mimic what a
guys, how you doing? We're about to do Game of Thrones. We're going to start any second now. Cenk, Ben, Meredith, and Matt, you guys know how we do this. We're going to watch the show together, and then right afterwards, we're going to take a super quick break, and then we'll do the review, and we'll do it all live. So stay with us. You'll get to see our reaction. And now we're getting close to the end here, so it's going to get crazier and crazier. Watch our reaction, watch it with us, and then we'll do the review. All right, here we go. It's starting.
Oh, no nudity.
Oh,
damn
not
it.
this time.
I'm out.
Today, look into the flames. What do you see? A wall of ice. The wall.
The only thing standing between us and the army of the dead is the wall, and the wall hasn't been properly manned in centuries. Last time we saw the Night King was at Hardhome. Closest castle to Hardhome is Eastwatch by the sea.
And that's where I'll go. Looks like we're the Night's Watch now.
Who talks that way?
Suits you.
Anyone with a beard like
Lady
that?
Stark. John left you in charge. He did.
I love Littlefinger/hate him.
You know, my son. Do you fight with us? Or with foreign savages and eunuchs?
What do you think I should do?
To use them to melt castles and burn cities. They're not different. You're just more of the same.
Be Bernie Sanders. Is Jamie alive?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he made it.
No, he
But
made
then
it.
he
He's
sunk.
sinking, but this is where we're gonna.
It's hard to take armor off in
I
one
know.
hand.
Yeah, somebody's gonna rescue him. The question is who?
Probably Bronn
I
again.
don't know. I think it's gonna be Danny.
No, it could be Danny.
Or the Tyrion gets him and he's
Could be
hostage.
Tyrion somehow.
Right,
Yeah.
Tyrion, guys working, he's
Yeah.
not doing it, but
Yeah, he's. Okay, I was gonna make a joke, but that I'm not allowed to make outside of the Game of Thrones context. But I decided perhaps even within the Game of Thrones context.
good call.
Discretion.
Can I make bastard jokes?
Yes.
Bastard jokes.
Okay, yeah, bastard jokes.
Because there aren't bastards.
Yeah. No, there are even more of them. If you listen to the conservatives.
Oh, yeah.
But here's what you should do.
Well, we can
Not
talk
listen
about the
to them.
problem we had with White Walkers this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes. Actual White Walkers.
I wonder.
Matt made a great meme about that.
It's very
Yeah,
good.
they're not coming. They're here.
Yeah.
White Walkers going down south.
Trump
I can
watches-
find people find them, Matt.
Trump's going to watch Game of Thrones. He said, look, the White Walkers and then Jon Snow's army, they're both violent.
That's right.
They're killing each other.
Many sides do the
Many
violence.
sides are
Many
committing
sides do the
violence,
violence.
Yeah, many sides. The KKK, the alt-right, the Nazis, the bigots. That's many.
Yeah.
No, we're saying Trump analyzing Game of Thrones. He'd be like, the White Walkers, like,
I mean,
they're
we
committing
should-
violence.
Yeah.
Eastwatch,
Yeah. I
yes.
like how they do that. You know where you're going. Yeah.
And Eastwatch looks super cool.
Town means more library.
Yeah. Sam time. Do you think?
Books.
What do you think Dragonglass does against actual White Walkers? That's
Cuts them
real
up.
life ones. Yeah.
Poisons them
I think they
slowly.
have a strong allergic reaction.
Yeah.
They get super itchy.
Like, and they start sneezing,
Like hives.
get distracted.
Gives them the heebie-jeebies. It's like, "Ugh."
Well, this is episode 5, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so one of the last
Episode
3.
6.
Oh, is it? No.
Oh, come
man,
on. That's
no.
too easy. That's too easy. No.
I mean,
And where? Everybody left? What is that? No, they swam there?
No.
No.
No, that was obvious. You guys are asking for too much. Doesn't
I know.
matter.
Time and space. We
Yeah.
have to stop questioning it, apparently.
You could have killed me.
Now he's gonna kiss him.
What the fuck are you doing back there? Into the wall. Killing her. You saw the dragon between you and her. And?
I hated that beginning.
Listen to me, cunt. Till I get what I want, a dragon doesn't get to kill you. You don't get to kill you.
Only I get to kill you.
Do you think he wants to die?
Maybe.
That was only one of them. She has two more. If she decides to use them, to really use that, you're fucked. You mean we're fucked? No, I do not. Dragons are where our partnership ends. I'm not going to be around when those things start spitting fire on King's Landing. I have to tell Cersei. May as well jump back in that river.
How did they get there underwater? What, the entire way?
No, they were swimming the whole way.
Braun dragged 150 pounds of armor.
It's Braun.
All right. Anyway, I gotta let it go. But
The problem was the previous episode showing him sink so much.
Yes.
They should have
That's
just had
right.
him go in.
Yeah. No, that's sinking. That was.
Right. We accept the reality of dragons.
Yes. But not.
And
But
White
within the context of Game of Thrones, that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Too much sinking.
Except the Mariana Trench in a river.
Yeah, and nobody like popped a potion of underwater breathing.
It's called the hero shield.
I know, but that's why I'm so mad about it. I am actually quite mad about it. Because in Game of Thrones, there is no hero shield. And that was a bullshit hero shield.
So they captured some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Danny finally listened to reason.
Which one of you assholes shot me?
I know what Cersei has told you. That I've come to destroy your cities, burn down your homes, murder you and orphan your children. That's Cersei Lannister, not me. I'm not here to murder. And all I want to destroy is the wheel that has rolled over rich and poor to the benefit of no one but the Cersei Lannisters of the world. I offer you a choice. Bend the knee and join me. Together, we will leave the world a better place than we found it. Or refuse. And die.
What about there you go.
Oh, the guy's there.
Yeah.
Did you see Sam's dad is there? He didn't die.
Yeah.
Charlie's not going to kneel.
The dragon speaks English.
No, okay, no, we don't need. Come on, Dickon. You've got to live. Dickon, you're better than this.
Step forward, my lord. You will not kneel?
I already have a queen. My sister. She wasn't your queen until recently, though, was she? When she murdered your rightful queen, destroyed House Tyrell for all time. So it appears your allegiances are somewhat flexible. No easy choices in war. Say what you will about your sister, she was born in Westeros. She lived here all her life. You, on the other hand, murdered your own father and chose to support a foreign invader, one with no ties to this land. An army of savages at her back.
You will not trade your
No,
honor
that's
for
not
your life.
topical.
I respect that.
Perhaps you could take the black, your grace. Whatever else he is a true soldier. He'd be invaluable at the war. You cannot send me to the war. You are not my queen.
No?
Just like, all right.
Yeah.
You will have to kill me too.
Oh,
Step
Dickon.
back and shut your mouth.
Who are you?
Stupid boy.
I'm Dickon Tarly, son of Randall Tarly.
You are the future of your house. This war has already wiped one great house from the world. Don't let it happen again. Bend the knee.
Oh, Samwell.
Yeah.
I will not.
Yeah, he's not going to do it.
Now the house falls to Sam.
Nothing scrubs bold notions from a man's head like a few weeks in a dark cell.
I meant what I said. I'm not here to put men in chains. If that becomes an option, many will take it. I gave them a choice.
Mention this brother, man.
They may.
Does he know his brother? Tyrion know Sam?
Stop beheading entire
I'm not
families.
beheading any.
Oh. Oh, God.
Your Grace.
I don't see Tyrion's point.
They take him prisoner.
Yeah.
They don't have the resources.
Nah, I wouldn't leave those guys alive.
I wouldn't leave the leaders alive.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not sure I'd leave the army alive, let alone the leaders. Well, the head of the Tarly house is now Samwell Tarly.
Yes, good.
I, Daenerys of House Targaryen, first of my name, breaker of chains and mother of dragons, sentence you to die. Dracarys.
They'll be okay. Somebody just needs to get like a coat.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
That one's particularly quick.
Watch this. The remaining guys are going to take a knee right now. There you go.
Yeah.
Here's how that works.
Perfect.
That's why you kill him.
Yep. It was an effective strategy. But Tyrion is going to turn away from her.
But Tyrion's being establishment. He went to cocktail parties with those guys.
Yeah. But he detests violence.
Yeah, I want to hear. We're going to get more out of him about
Yeah.
this.
And he knows it's going to happen to his brother.
Mm-hmm.
How'd it go?
How
she'll
many
have heard.
men did we lose?
All of them. All of them.
We haven't done full counting.
But all of them.
It's not only armies that win wars. We have the Tyrell gold, we have the Iron Man behind us, we can buy mercenaries. Not the same as our men, but they'll fight if they're well paid, which they will be.
My Mark Braun quit.
The Dothraki fight. They'll beat any mercenary army. They'll beat any army I've ever seen. Killing our men wasn't war for them, it was sport. Her dragon burnt 1,000 wagons. Qyburn Scorpion fired bolts bigger than you. They couldn't stop it, and she has 3 of them. This isn't a war we can win. So what do we do? Sue for peace. I sit on her father's throne, the father you betrayed and murdered. And in her mind, she's winning. What sort of offer do you think she'd make? Maybe we can count on Tyrion to intercede on our behalf. By way of apology for murdering our father and son.
You know, funny thing.
You saw the crossbow, you saw his body. I'm not talking about father. Tyrion didn't kill Joffrey, had nothing to do with it. After all this time, it still amazes me. It was Olenna. She confessed before she died. And this was before or after she drank the poison you so kindly provided her. After. And you believed her. If you were Olenna, would you rather have seen your granddaughter married to Joffrey or Tommen? Would Margaret have been better able to control which one would have made Olenna the true ruler of the 7 kingdoms? She was telling the truth.
I love when Cersei finds out she's not as smart as she thinks she is.
Oh, yeah.
I shouldn't have listened to you. She should have died screaming. She's dead. Like her son, her grandchildren, her whole house. And if we don't find a way out of this war, we'll follow them. So we fight and die, or we submit and die. I know my choice. The soldier should know his.
I want to point out that we had been thinking that this was a Game of Thrones for kings, and we've got 2 queens fighting each other.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Oh my God.
We don't know if Jon bent the knee, though. Yeah.
Is this? Oh. Damn.
No.
I got so excited that Jon was going to connect with the dragon.
knows, right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. It'd be great if he spoke.
Now Daenerys knows.
Oh, you taste Targaryen.
Cousin John.
Okay, I take back wanting Drogo to die last week. This is so cute.
What are you doing with my dragon?
Now he vaporizes him.
Just like the iguana.
Now they're gonna do it.
Yes. Still would be less awkward than Jon and
Hey, you know, he's been
Daenerys.
dead once.
He's like half Stark, but it'll do.
Close enough.
Very, very good dragon.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
How about like
The
that
one
was
I
weird?
thinking of, but yes, they are. Gorgeous beasts.
They're not beasts to me. No matter how big they get, how terrifying to everyone else. They're my children.
You weren't gone long,
No.
and
And I have fewer enemies today than I did yesterday. You're not sure how you feel about that?
no, I'm not.
How many men did your army kill taking Winterfell back from the Boltons?
Thousands.
We both want to help people. We can only help them from a position of strength. Sometimes strength is terrible. When you first came here, Sir Davos said you took a knife in the heart for your people.
Sir Davos gets carried away.
So it was a figure of speech.
Oh.
Ah!
Welcome home, Lord of the Friend Zone.
Guess who's back? Back again.
You're great.
Your best friend killed me. Cured me.
An old friend.
I served with your father. He was a great man.
You look strong. You found a cure?
Wouldn't be here if I hadn't. I'll return to your service, my queen. If you'll have me.
It would be my honor.
I'll be cured for grayscale and balding.
He's not only the president, he's also a client. Grayscale for men.
Oh, it's Bran's Ravens.
Entire storyline bores the shit out of me.
Okay, yeah. So he's like, who cured you? Samuel Tarly. Oh, what a coincidence. I just murdered his father and brother.
Yeah, he's Lord
He's
now.
my best friend, and I just murdered his brother and brother. Yeah.
But that means he can leave Old Town.
He can what?
He can leave Old Town.
In
He
fact,
would be allowed to. He could be allowed to leave the Black to take over his house.
Oh, right. Oh, they don't. I think the rules of leaving the Black are. I think those have been abandoned. But yes,
a lot of the rules of
Have they been
Black,
abandoned?
given that the Wildings.
They haven't been abandoned.
Well, John left.
Right, but he already died. Like, that was his attitude. It's like, well, I died for it.
I just get the feeling they're not taking it super seriously anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Samuel Tarly left to go to a library, and
They
the
got
wild,
married.
and they let the Wildlings in.
Yeah.
Look at how deep it is.
Zombie Palooza.
Oh, they know. Oh.
Yeah, you can see into the house.
Ravens. We need to send ravens.
All of them.
I put very little stock in it myself. Prophecies of doom are never in short supply, especially when winter comes.
I remember Walton. A little timid, but a sharp mind.
Yeah, the North has dulled many of Maestling's wits. Hard to say whether it's the cold, the drink, or the company. A crippled boy claims to have seen dead men on the march beyond the wall, thanks to the magical help of a raven with 3 eyes.
As it is a bit much. Still, we ought to
Runs and start. The crippled boy.
You know him.
I led him through the wall years ago. I saw him go beyond the wall.
And?
Somehow, a crippled boy survived for years beyond the wall when no one else could. Not the Night's Watch, not the Wildlings, no one. Perhaps we ought to listen to what he has to say. Perhaps you need more scribing work to discipline your mind.
I sense a more detailed proposal is forthcoming.
Send me back.
Everyone in Westeros trusts and respects you. If you tell people the threat is real, they'll believe it. If you advise all the lords to send their men north to hold the wall, they'll do it. And if you tell every maester in the Citadel to search every word of every faded scroll about the Long Night, they may find something that lets us defeat the army of the dead for good.
He's so pleased with himself.
It could be done. And this news could be authentic. It's possible. It's also possible that this message is part of a ploy by the Dragon Queen to lure the southern armies away from the lands they are currently defending, to open those lands to easy conquest.
That does seem far more likely than magic birds talking to cripples. Archmaester, please. It's real. I've seen it.
We will write to Maester Vulcan and Winterfell for clarification. I promise you, we will get to the truth of it one way or another.
Archmaester,
That will be
please.
all, Tarly.
Brings to mind the work of David Lodestone. The Shires have been claimed.
They'll write to who? Which from?
The forest.
Don't forget the Prophet Lodos, who promised that the drowned god would rise up and destroy Aegon the Conqueror.
Lodos.
Maesters are hilarious.
Is he the one whose father and brother were just burnt alive?
Oh.
I'm afraid so.
Horrible business.
I haven't had the heart to tell him yet. He's a good lad. Right. The Ravenry was falling apart the last time I checked.
The Raven what?
The Raven.
Like, they're just moving on.
Yeah.
They're just moving on to, yeah.
Old rulers demand that people bend the knee. That's why they're rulers. She gave Tarly a choice. A man who had taken up arms against her. What else could she do?
Not burn him alive alongside his son.
I am her hand, not her head. I can't make her decisions for her.
That's what I used to tell myself about her father. I found the traitors, but I wasn't the one burning them alive. I was only a purveyor of information. It's what I told myself when I watched them beg for mercy. I'm not the one doing it. The pitch of their screams rose higher. I'm not the one doing it. When their hair caught fire and the smell of the burning flesh filled the throne room, I'm not the one doing it.
Daenerys is not her father.
And she never will be. With the right counsel. You need to find a way to make her listen.
Who's that for?
Jon Snow.
Did you read it?
It's a sealed scroll for the king in the north.
Of course he read it.
And?
What's it say? Nothing good.
We're all fucked.
I thought Arya was dead. I thought Bran was dead.
I'm happy for you. You don't look happy.
Bran saw the Night King and his army marching towards Eastwatch. If they make it past the wall has kept them out for thousands of years, presumably.
I need to go home.
You said you don't have enough men.
We'll fight with the men we have. Unless you'll join us.
And give the country to Cersei. As soon as I march away, she marches in.
Perhaps not. Cersei thinks the army of the dead is nothing but a story, made up by wet nurses to frighten children. What if we prove her wrong?
I don't think she'll come see the dead at my invitation.
So bring the dead to her.
I thought that was what we were trying to avoid.
You don't have to bring the whole army. Only one soldier. Is that possible?
It's so crazy. It just might
The
work.
first white I ever saw was brought into Castle Black from beyond the wall. Bring one of these things down to King's Landing and show her the truth.
Anything you bring back will be useless unless Cersei glances an audience and is somehow convinced not to murder us the moment we set foot in the capital.
The only person she listens to is Jaime. He may listen to me.
And how would you get into King's Landing?
Yeah.
He knows.
I can smuggle you in. But if the gold cloaks were to recognize you, I'm warning you, I'm not a fighter.
But it'll all be for nothing if we don't have one of these dipped men.
Fair point. How do you propose to find one?
With the Queen's permission, I'll go north and take one. You asked me to find a cure so I could serve you. Allow me to serve you.
Free folk will help us. They know the real North better than anyone. They won't follow Sir Jorah. They won't have to.
You can't lead a raid beyond the wall. You're not in the Night's Watch anymore. You're king of the North.
I'm the only one here who's fought them. The only one here who knows them.
I haven't given you permission to leave.
Yeah. And you're talking about my two
With respect,
boyfriends.
Your Grace, I don't need your permission. I am a king. I came here knowing that you could have your men behead me or your dragons burn me alive. I put my trust in you, a stranger, because I knew it was the best chance for my people, for all our people. I'm asking you to trust in a stranger, because it's our best chance.
She's in love.
Oh, yes. Definitely yes.
Usually the Dario the same way.
Yeah. Now, give him a dragon so we can see Jon ride a dragon.
The king in the north should stay in the north.
He's already back?
Yeah, of course,
We
right?
did not choose you to rule us,
Oh, no.
my lady. But perhaps we should have.
The Knights of the Vale came here for you. They stopped.
You are very kind, my lords. But Jon is our king. He is doing what he thinks is best.
She doesn't mean it.
No. Whoa, is that some respect from Arya?
But he couldn't leave the north and expected to just sit and wait for him like a ghost.
He didn't. He trusted you to hold it for him.
He's not making it easy. The Northern Lords are proud.
He's a mother and father's shepherds.
And?
Nothing.
Don't do that.
What?
Say what you mean.
You always liked nice things. Made you feel better than everyone.
Wow, that's pretty harsh.
Are you angry with me?
They were insulting John. And you sat there and listened.
I listened to their complaints, which is my responsibility as Lady of Winterfell.
Their opinions are important to you.
Glover has 500 men, Royce has 2,000. Offend them, and John loses his army.
Not if they lose their heads first.
Winterfell didn't just fall into our hands. We took it back. And the Mormonts, and the Hornwoods, and the Wildlands, and the Vale, all of us working together. Now, I'm sure cutting off heads is very satisfying, but that's not the way you get people to work together.
Good point.
Yeah, they're both right.
And if John doesn't come back, you'll need their support. So you can work together to give you what you really want.
No.
I can't even think such a horrible thing.
You're thinking it right now. You don't want to be. But the thought just won't go away.
I have work to do.
My lady.
They're both right, but she told her to speak honestly.
Last time I was here, I killed my father with the crossbow. Last time I was here, you killed my son with wildfire.
No.
There's a path to the left that hugs the cliff. The guards hardly ever patrol it. Too many steps.
Okay, but they don't have the White Walker yet, so why are they already going?
Here? Your own business in Flea Bottom. What if someone takes the boat? Then we're fucked. Let's hurry.
We don't have time for this. We should be preparing the city for a siege. The Dothraki are coming.
All the more reason for you to train. As you plan on fighting Dothraki 12-year-olds?
I seem to recall them giving you a bit of trouble as well.
And here I am, ready to train.
Why down here?
I don't think you want people to see how you look swinging that thing in.
Today might be the day I kill you by accident.
Oh, you won't be swinging it at me.
Oh, God. Whoa.
Tyrion is friends with everybody.
Leave me to it.
Yeah, well.
I needed to see you. And I knew you'd never agree to meet. You made me look like a complete fool. Thought I'd surprise you by hitting Casterly Rock. You were 3 steps ahead of me. Abandoned the family home, completely unsentimental. Father would have been proud.
Don't talk about father.
Listen to me.
I once told Bronn that if I ever saw you again, I'd cut you in half.
It'll take you a while with a sparring sword. He was going to execute me. He knew I was innocent. He didn't hate me because of anything I did. He hated me because of what I am. A little monster sent to punish him. Did you think I wanted to be born this way? Did you think I chose? What do you want? Daenerys will win this war. You're a military man. You must know there's no way around it. Daenerys is not his father. She's even willing to suspend hostilities if Cersei agrees to certain terms.
You want Cersei to bend the knee? You can ask her yourself.
I don't. Daenerys doesn't. Not right now, anyway. She has a more important request.
Is the Baratheon kid?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, he found Gendry and put
Yes.
him back in Old Town.
Yeah.
He found Gendry out in the water.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Wasn't sure I'd find you. Thought you might still be rowing. Looked in shops, taverns, brothels. Should have known to come straight to the street of steel.
You worried? The gold cloaks.
Haven't been here in years. Why should they recognize me? Sometimes I hardly do. Nothing fucks you harder than time.
Write that down.
Anybody give you any trouble?
Yeah, here I am, arming Lannisters that never get a second look. Hey, you were right. Safest place for me was right under the Queen's nose.
Don't be so sure. Safety is never a permanent state of affairs. Bad things are coming.
You came to get me. You want me to come with you?
Well, I think you need to understand.
I'm ready.
Yeah, let's go. What you're heading into.
What do you think I've been thinking about with every swing of the hammer? How happy I am making weapons for the family that killed my father. Family that tried to kill me. I've been getting ready. Never knew what for, but I've always known I'd know it when it comes.
You might want to bring one of those swords.
I don't know much about swinging swords. But this I know.
What is that?
The
A
hammer.
hammer. That's amazing.
So he's Thor. That's fucking awesome.
It's hammer time.
Oh.
Keep your father's name to yourself. Situation's complicated enough already.
Uh-oh.
Who should I say I am?
I told you, Clovis, if we don't get out of here soon, someone's gonna... No weapons, friends. I promise. What can I do for you?
Is that your boat?
It is.
The docks are that way.
That they are. I try to stay away from them, to avoid good men such as yourselves. Still 5 gold dragons?
You're joking. You must be even older than you look. 15.
15!
A piece.
It's outrageous.
I can't say it was a pleasure doing business with you.
What's in the boat?
I see a couple guys hammered to death in a second.
Not more gold.
Wine. I like wine. Or hams.
Come on, look.
Oh,
They're going to get this 30 back.
yeah.
Fermented crab.
What?
Fermented crab. One bucket of this triples the brothel's earnings for the week. A man thinks he's done. He's ready to go back to his loving family. But before he gets his breeches up, his lady of the hour pops a tiny spoon of that into his mouth. 5 minutes later, he's back in the race. Here, have a taste.
It either kills them or it's a great ploy.
Yeah.
I'd hurry to your favourite establishment, or you'll put a hole in that chainmail.
Wow.
Oh no!
Hide. Oh, too late. Too late.
What? Dwarf! I really wouldn't try any more until you see how the first bite hits you.
That dwarf. Where'd you get that scar?
Bishop, some men you just can't teach.
We was looking for a dwarf with a scar like that a while back.
Perhaps there's some arrangement?
Arrangement. You're going to arrange to pay us more than Queen said.
Oh!
Jesus.
Well,
This is Gendry. He'll do.
He'll do.
you take the gold back before you leave.
What'd she say? Well,
Won't be necessary, but what did he say is the question.
Why was Kyber?
He's the hand of the Queen. Why are you here?
I met with Tyrion.
say,
What?
is there another Tyrion?
What did our brother have to say?
Tyrion Johnson?
Daenerys wants to meet
To discuss her surrender.
to discuss an armistice.
She just won a great victory. Why would she want a truce now?
Because an army of dead men is marching on the Seven Kingdoms. Tyrion claims he'll have proof.
You're going to punish him.
Tyrion,
Ron. He betrayed you. He set up a meeting without your knowledge or consent.
It's not a betrayal.
Do you think anything of importance happens in this city without me knowing?
you let it happen. Why?
I've come to believe that an accommodation with the Dragon Queen could be in our immediate interest. She has the numbers. If we want to beat her, we have to be clever. We have to fight her like Father would have. Dead men, dragons, and dragon queens. Whatever stands in our way, we will defeat it. For ourselves, for ours. For this.
Oh, she's pregnant? Well, that's one way to get his loyalty back.
Not buying
Who
it.
you say is the father?
You.
That was quick.
So she'll say is the father.
People don't like that.
What did he say?
People will like what we tell them to like.
Do you remember what Father used to say about people?
The lion does not concern himself with the opinions of the sheep.
That's, by the way, also what the Dothraki say. Literally.
I'd ask for the
Never
ending of
betray me again.
She's unreal, man.
We're leaving today. The King's got a lot on his mind. I understand. He doesn't need to be thinking about harbouring the bastard of a dead king.
You don't have to worry.
You're just Clovis, a smith who's come to pay his respects before he heads off to work at the Winterfell Forges. Understood? Begging your pardon, Your Grace.
You survived King's Landing.
Yet again. Your Grace. This is
Prince
his
Gendry, Your Grace. I'm Robert Baratheon's son. Bastard son.
He was meant to keep that to himself.
Our fathers trusted each other. Why shouldn't we?
I saw your father once at Winterfell.
I met yours. In my shop.
You're a lot leaner.
You're a lot shorter.
smile.
I grew up on stories about them.
And all I ever knew is that they fought together and won. Sir Davos told me where you're going, Your Grace, and why. Let me come with you.
Don't be a fool. You're not a soldier.
No, but I'm a fighter. And he won't be needing a smith with a sword like that.
You know how to use one? Oh, that's a problem.
Prefer a hammer.
He can handle himself.
We could use the help.
As my father used to say, it's better to be a coward for a minute than dead for the rest of your life.
I owe you my life. Twice over.
if what you said is true about what's up there, I can't wait out this war. Yeah, nobody mind me. All I've ever done is live to a ripe old age.
I gotta remember to talk about that. With that line he just used. Yeah.
You may not believe it. I've missed you, Mama.
Uh-oh.
Every flower's quite like you. How did you Grey Worm? This is the coin the slaver gave me when I suggested he free us and pay us, remember?
It was supposed to last us the rest of our lives.
Take it with you. But bring it back. Our queen needs you.
We should be better at saying farewell by now.
Your Grace say.
That'll last him a lifetime.
If I don't return, at least you won't have to deal with the king in the north anymore.
Never a news day.
I wish you good fortune in the wars to come, Your Grace.
She's so much hornier than he is.
Maybe being dead like killed that in him.
There's three potential rulers right there in a couple of feet.
Do you know how many steps there are in the citadel?
No.
15,782.
That's my favorite look of all time.
Great scepter Baylor.
None now.
None anymore.
That's true. This High Scepter Maynard, he recorded everything. He even recorded his own bowel movements.
Yeah, but she's gonna stumble upon
Yeah, that's something.
Annulment mean?
It's when a man sets aside his lawful wife.
Maynard says here that he issued an annulment for Prince Riker and remarried him to someone else at the same time.
This Stark.
In Dawn. Is that a common thing in the South?
These maesters, they set me to the task of preserving that man's wind accounting and annulments and bowel movements for all eternity, while the secret to defeating the Night King's probably sitting on some dusty shelf somewhere, completely ignored. But that's all right, isn't it? We can all become slavering, murderous imbeciles enthralled to evil incarnate, as long as we can have access to the full records of High Scepter Maynard's 15,782 shits.
She was telling you.
Steps. That number was steps.
Oh no!
What?
So close.
Oh, that was so close.
He's gonna remember.
Oh, Brandon.
Yeah, but
He was there. Bran was there in one of his things.
Brand knows at least that he's at least the bastard, but it turns out actually Rhaegar is Jon is the trueborn son of Rhaegar and Lyanna Stark.
I feel like that's what John Idarola would have done.
what? Oh,
Like, looked back at his dreams of what it was with like a little forlorn look of what it wasn't.
Are you sure you want to do this? You always wanted to be a maester.
I'm tired of reading about the achievements of better men.
Wrong again, Bob.
He actually was not that far from convincing them.
No.
Yeah.
That's why, I mean, it's a curious time to leave. But anyway.
Those are also his dad's.
But Jim Broadbent, the guy, the main, he's still going to go through with this. He's still going to find out about Broad.
Oh, watch the ladder, big guy.
Yeah. You know, I took a couple people off my list. I can add a couple people onto my list.
Was he ever on it? No, right?
He should be.
Oh. So what do we see there? They're just fooling around, or what?
No, he
No, he's you know, doing some sort of his usual spy stuff.
Right. He gave her a coin for something.
Oh, he's got their ear.
Oh, he's paid her to tell him who's talking smack.
Right.
Yeah. Trying to raise.
But it would just be like Littlefinger to underestimate, like, you know, always that, and he just underestimates Arya.
Yeah.
Well, why would he? Yeah, I guess no. But after that sword fight that he saw, he probably wouldn't underestimate.
I found it, my lord.
He's at 15 minutes max.
I took some searching. Makes the Living's archives are very thorough.
You're sure this is the only copy you meant to found?
Yes, my lord.
It's the same thing.
Maybe,
The thing she found, right?
I think so.
What was the thing she found?
No.
Lady Stark thanks you for your service.
No, maybe about John, maybe about, I don't know.
Right, maybe about Lyanna.
Yeah, like about the Dorne wedding, you know.
Mm-hmm. Is that a trap?
Arya Rockford. Pick any lock.
If I was a tiny piece of paper, where would
I think I saw that show, the Arya Files.
He's coming in.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like a trap.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I mean, he's not going to kill her. But
Yeah, I mean, here's who I wouldn't fuck with: Arya Stark.
gotta smooth the bed over afterwards, Mayor of Baltimore.
It's a note that says, "Stay out of my stuff, Arya."
Get out.
What it killed from his wounds, tried to steal the throne. That's the only things I saw.
Something about swearing.
And then Sansa, I thought it was signed by. I don't know. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And I wonder if he planted a false thing. That's another possibility.
Yeah.
Isn't it your job to talk him out of stupid fucking ideas like this? I've been failing at that job of late. How many queens are there now? 2. And you need to convince the one with the dragons or the one who fucks her brother. Both. How many men did you bring?
3.
Not enough. The big woman.
Which one? The big woman.
We were hoping some of your men could help.
I'll be staying behind. I'm a liability out there, as you well know.
You are. You really want to go out there again?
No.
You're not the only ones. The scouts found them a mile south of the wall. Said they were on the way here.
Oh, nice.
You're the Hound. I saw you once at Winterfell.
The Hound and Tyrion have a relationship?
Must
They
have.
want to go beyond the wall too. We don't want to go beyond the wall, we have to. Our Lord told us the Great War is
Don't
coming.
trust him. Don't trust any of them.
Gendry knows these clowns.
They're the Brotherhood. And the last thing their lord told them to do was sell me to a red witch to be murdered.
Horus. I hardly recognized you. This is your moment. They won't give me anything to drink down here. I haven't been feeling like myself. You're a fucking moment. Like the last Lord Commander. He was my father. He hunted us like animals. You returned the favor, as I recall. Here we all are, at the edge of the world, at the same moment, heading in the same direction for the same reason.
Our reasons aren't your reasons.
It doesn't matter what we think our reasons are. There's a greater purpose at work. We serve it together, whether we know it or not. We may take the steps, but the Lord of Light...
For fuck's sake, will you shut your hole? Are we coming with you or not?
You want to know what we're doing? Is it worse than sitting in a freezing cell waiting to die?
He's right. We're all on the same side. How can we be?
We're all breathing.
That's exactly what I'm saying. We're all alive.
All breathing.
Yeah.
Yup.
Don't get fucked over by young, resentful
There's many sides.
He must have planted the note. Littlefinger must have planted the note. Like, meaning, like, it's got all of the wrong information.
And that's how. And when Arya goes to Sansa,
That's going to drive the wedge between them because she's going to.
Or bring them together.
I wonder if the note wasn't about Jon being resurrected and they plan on releasing that in order to discredit him.
I don't know how that discredits it.
How do we know? We need to know what was in that goddamn note.
All right, we'll talk about it in the review again, but this is one badass crew they're sending out to hunt the dead.
This is
if you wanted a crew to hunt the dead, this would be the crew. It's
the Expendables.
Yeah, totally. This is a platoon.
This is Navy. This is Westeros Team 6. Don't let me forget that line.
Standard
Almost
formation.
literally, 7 of them.
The Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh.
I love it. Okay. This is when we take the quick break, guys. And we will be back in a couple of minutes, so don't go anywhere because the real review's coming up. And, you know, you heard us talk about it throughout. Ain't seen nothing yet. If you've never seen one of our reviews, I think you will thoroughly enjoy it. So we'll be right back.
Welcome everybody. What the Flick? Game of Thrones season 7, episode 5. Eastwatch. We just watched it. Good stuff. Started small, ended big.
Yeah.
Right? They did a little once out of the pit. My mom used to use that phrase all the time in the serials that used to air before movies, when you'd see like there'd be like a B feature and a serial and a cartoon back when you'd go to the movies like all day Saturday. Like, you'd see the hero and the car would drive off a cliff, and then it would be like, come back next week. And then the next week, he just would get out of the car.
That's kind of what happened in the beginning of this episode.
It was once out, like he'd be in a pit, and there's like, and then be like, you'd open the next week, be like, whew, man, tough getting out of that pit, but I made it.
Yeah. So that actually really pissed me off.
It's almost the equivalent of him actually standing up at the top of the cliff, looking down at the car.
Right.
Like, I'm glad I wasn't in that car.
So I think their problem was not so much that we saw him. Because all that happened was that Bronn saved Jaime and they went into the water, and then they obviously swam to safety. They stayed under for a while and swam to safety and got to the other side. That's not an unreasonable thing to have happened. The problem is we had that long shot of Jaime sinking alone. Like, did Bronn pull him up from there? Like that we needed to see.
Bronn's POV?
If it had ended with them just going in the water, and then the black came and that was the end of the episode, then this what they gave us here in episode 5 would have been satisfactory, but it sort of wasn't.
So there's a lot that I loved in this episode, especially the ending, but I hated that scene probably more than I hated anything in Game of Thrones, because as we were talking about it as we were watching it live, of course we're okay with dragons and the dead people and etc. Because that's within the context of the show. But in the context of the show, you don't have, what do you call it, Matt?
The hero shield.
The hero shield, right? I mean, that is the core of Game of Thrones, no hero shield. And that was a hero shield bullshit that they just pulled there. I mean, he's going in with 150 pounds of armor or whatever down at the bottom of that lake, and somehow Brown pulls him out. They put their head out of the water, they don't get seen. They then swim with 150 pounds, and then like the first time you see them come out is like a mile away.
Well, so here's the thing. What you don't realize is that the Lannisters have a B slogan, which is a Lannister always holds his breath.
But
I did not know that.
So here's some of what we think, what I suspect happened. And I think their mistake was getting too fond of that shot of Jaime. They just needed to cut it out.
Because it looked like a nice shot.
It looked right. And what we know from that leaked script.
Oh. Wait, I don't know.
I don't know anything.
No, there was a big hack. No, this was of the last.
No, I know that it exists. Just don't give away anything.
This was last week's episode.
Okay.
So the leak of episode 4 had the script that leaked, which it clearly changed in shooting, was almost identical. But that's how we knew it was Bronn. For one thing, it said Bronn leaps and saves him, right, and knocks him into the water. And included in that was a shot that they had at least scripted of all these Lannisters in the water, desperately struggling to get out of their armor, and Jaime sees these guys who can't get out of the armor and they drown. Like it was that's a pretty dramatic shot that was in Saving Private Ryan. Also, guys with all that gear as they came aboard at the beach on D-Day, and so it's like we're not going to have that shot, but we really like the armor dragging him down. Let's just have Jaime get dragged down by the armor, and they liked that, and then it left them in a bind that they weren't prepared to write themselves out of. So I think that's the only explanation, because it's not a hero shield. It's just a moment of fairly sloppy storytelling.
Right, it's just bad editing.
Just bad editing, bad story, bad continuity from episode to episode. As much as you like that shot, you needed to abandon it and not use it.
That's okay. Look, I hate it. We all hate it. We're done with it.
Right,
okay, so no pardon, but we're moving past.
But there's so much to love about this episode.
Worse would have been a suggestion that somehow that he was heroic, that he had, because what we're getting at is don't. My dad used to say, and it's to some extent the hero shield, but don't break your own rules. Like, okay, they have dragons. If it turns out the dragons also wield swords, we're going to be like,
but what if?
Well, look.
Who says they don't?
My dad didn't like his complaint. He was like, well, if ET could fly the whole time, then why did I just sit here for an hour and 50 minutes?
Yeah, but I think ET had kind of figured that out. Yeah. Let's not go back to ET. Okay, so look, the other thing I didn't like is the dragons were uncontrollable, except now like microscopic. I can't say it. They can control him with incredible detail. So she's like, oh, Dracarys, but hey, you know what I'm talking about, right? Just those two guys.
No, but then
So I mean, if they're smart bombs, then why aren't we already in King's Landing? Because the whole thing was, if you go to King's Landing and the dragons will just burn everything down. Well, apparently she could be like Dracarys, and you know what I'm saying, right? The Tarleys.
I know, but that's why big armies, and that's like, I mean, that's to some extent what we see now in Iraq and Afghanistan, which is you'd be fighting in a city and you can try and be all the smart bomb you want.
Well, the other thing is,
they're still
walk away from the rest of those guys.
I get it,
like
but
far away.
Yeah, but it's a little Frank Mankiewicz. You're breaking your own rules a little bit. What would have been better is if, in the midst of the fight, the dragon had accidentally burned down some Dothraki. Then you get a sense, oh, these are kind of loose nukes. Be careful.
I'm going to disagree with you on that. One, I think you're like the dragon would be like, what? Like I'd like to get a little dragon conversation going. But no, I think that the suggestion she said, even if they've gotten bigger, they've gotten smarter, they're maturing, and they are very in tune with her. They're what?
They're attack dogs.
Yeah, and they're totally in tune with her, and that works for me.
I feel like that scene when Drogon hauled her off, from the middle of the fight, the whole Fight Club area. I feel like that was the moment where Dany and the dragon connected, and from that point forward, she was able to extend her control over the other dragons. I think a lot of that was, and we saw more of that in the book. Not so much in the.
I like the kids' book game with Dany and the dragon. That's kids.
So I think there was some
sequel to Cecil and the Sea Monster.
Yeah. So look, we had plenty of films here.
Seymour and the Sea Serpent.
And so I've added L, which is the lines. We had some great lines in this episode, so plenty of good stuff coming up. But I'm Seth Greening this thing. The Dr. Evil's son was Seth Green, right? The actor Seth Green. Yeah, take a dragon, burn him alive. Go to King's Landing. Here, I'll do it. Give me the dragon. I'll go do it. Go burn Cersei Lannister alive. Leaving her alive is a terrible idea. Go burn them down. You're driving me freaking crazy.
Also, here's to your point, Cenk, which would work is, okay, go to King's Landing. You saw what happened to the Lannisters. Burn one thing.
Yeah.
Burn one thing with it, and then see that Lannister army be like, and then say hey, by the way, bend the knee. This is all over. Just turn on Cersei. You're not really with her anyway.
Also, the Red Keep is far enough away from the main part of King's Landing. They can just take down the Red Keep and not decimate the town.
Yeah, so it's definitely for the. I know, but it's for the furtherance of the plot. It really is. And so that's why I'm a little frustrated by it. I love it. I want the plot to be, brought along. At the same time, I just feel like there's an integrity to Game of Thrones that we're slightly messing around with.
Okay, but look, I have to jump in here because you're totally killing me. So this is a society that doesn't have mass media, right? It's all rumor, right? They get so the maesters, who are supposed to be the smart people, get the note from one of their own maesters that says, holy shit, guys, the dead are coming, right? Send help. They're like, right? I mean, so play this out, right? Tyrion and the queens both talk about this. Tyrion keeps talking to Dany about, you can't just let the dragons lay waste to the city. You can't send in the Dothraki. You can't send in the Unsullied because the populace will see it as a foreign invasion. So even if a dragon comes in and tries to do some kind of pinpoint hit, which is
smart dragon,
right? I'll grant you, maybe that could happen, maybe. But everybody who sits outside the keep, that whole fucking city, is going to see a dragon come by and
they'll see it anyway.
Yeah. They'll see it anyway, and they'll say, "Holy shit, she's coming to kill us all. We're fucked." And then the rumors spread, and the misinformation goes out, and Dany's screwed.
See, this is what's the difference between me and I'm somewhere in between Daenerys and Cersei, to be honest, and it makes me maybe not as good a person, but I'm not messing around. Power is power. Right,
but you need to be sustainable.
Okay, no, because the sheep will follow the lion.
But here's the other thing.
They will follow the dragons.
But the Lannisters and everybody has been talking about.
And Daenerys is there to help the sheep.
But the sheep
they're there to help the sheep.
All the sheep have been told for the last 15, 20 years is how the father of Daenerys was the fucking mad king and was gonna kill everybody. And the Lannisters have been saying, this fucking crazy woman's coming to kill you all.
I hear you, but look, they're getting propaganda from 1,000 different places right now. They're getting propaganda from the Lannisters.
No, they're only,
and by the way,
not
when they come and they don't actually kill the people and they set them free, that's pretty good evidence. You see, proof's always in the pudding, right?
I grant you that, but they're not getting propaganda from 1,000 different places. They're getting it from one place, the Lannisters. It's not like they can tune in to some other channel and hear from things.
I hear you. Now we're past that. Okay, that's I'm lodging my complaint and we're past that.
You're wrong.
Okay.
But the show seems aware of that problem because I think they shoehorned in that Varys Tyrion conversation to drive home the point that, oh boy, you gotta keep her from acting like her father or being seen as acting like her father.
Yeah.
I know, and that's to your point, but I don't totally agree with Chang. First of all, I don't agree with Chang in the sense that
he's ever said anything right.
Way smarter than everyone else. But
I'm just telling you the strategy I would use.
I got you, but that conversation felt like they're trying desperately to make us certain that we believe that this strategy of timidity and being careful on Daenerys' part is worthy when if you can end the war and end it quickly and kill a wildly unpopular queen and then set people free, just do it.
So I think that's what we see Daenerys do in that previous episode, right? It's not don't use the dragons at all, use them in the right way, right? She uses them against the Lannister army and hits their supply line, smart, right? Because she needs to get the civilian hearts and minds on her side, right? So leave them alone and go hit the soldiers.
Yeah, and then, so look, there's all these points I want to make, but I said I'd leave it, so I'm moving forward. So on the killing the Tarleys.
Real quick, sorry, Jack, but then, so that line is for you though. We can only help people from a position of strength, and sometimes strength is terrible. That's what she said, that's what Daenerys said.
Yeah, I totally agree. And so that brings us to the Tarleys, which is the line that you're referring to. So, look, I don't know why. I love Varys and I love Tyrion, and I think Varys is the heart of the show in a lot of ways, as I've said before. And he's the good and the light compared to Littlefinger being the darkness and etc. But it's like, what are you supposed to do with the Tarleys? They won't bend a knee. I guess you could put them in a prison, but they'll get out of the prison 50% of the time, right? I'm not taking any chances.
Right, nobody's in jail in this show.
No, I light them up. No, people have gotten
where Varys is right, I wouldn't burn him to death.
I would have killed the dad. I would have not killed the son.
Behead the dad, and don't, or feed him to the dragon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure Drogo's hungry after.
Well, I get the sense that Dany doesn't appreciate the stories about Aegon or Aaron, like her father burning people left and right. Right. And I don't think that Dany has a sense of how, like, the optics on that are super bad, right? Whereas if she let the dragon just eat those guys, fine.
Right, it's true, but she doesn't. And there's something to be said because we're still wondering that maybe she does like it. And maybe there is something to Targaryens. They love to see people burned to death. And they got dragons. And so I think we're supposed
to see people burned to death?
No, he seemed very, well, he wasn't there. He wasn't there for
anything.
But
I mean, if we're gonna say Targaryens.
But he's only half Targaryen. Right. But half enough for the Dragon to recognize him.
He doesn't seem into killing anybody.
No, back to the scene with the Tarleys. The whole thing preceding that with Daenerys saying, I want to give everyone a choice. Bend the knee or die. After, like, she kind of indicates that, like, I'm not going to kill you guys, but if you don't follow me, I'm going to kill you. Like, these are I know everyone hates, I harp on Daenerys' really bad mistakes, but I'm so over Daenerys making these calls and she doesn't realize about how it's going to come bite her in the ass. She doesn't think it through.
But I'm sort of with you. I think you got to kill the dad. I mean,
I agree.
But I don't think you needed to kill Dick Tarley. I think you're right. I think Dick Tarley could have lived. Richard Tarley.
Yeah, and so okay, we've discussed that, and now Samwell Tarley is now the head of the Tarley household,
but he doesn't know it yet.
But he doesn't know it. And boy, were there several close misses there. So Samwell Tarly almost convinces the Maesters that they should actually do something that would be monumentally important.
He almost
finds out who Jon Snow actually is. I mean, boy, that was so close.
Right. I mean, if that's not a confirmation, because Rhaegar's marriage was annulled, and there was a secret ceremony. Well, Jesus, who else would that be with?
Who was Rhaegar? Who was Rhaegar's girlfriend?
So he was married, but Rhaegar's secret girlfriend was Lyanna Stark.
But who was his?
He was married to
his actual wife?
Yeah.
He was married to Martell.
Right.
Thank you, Jacory.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right, because and then they had the marriage annulled in Dorne.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, in Dorne, that makes sense. That's right. So my guess is what'll happen is it said it in the show.
It said they said
something about Dorne.
Yeah, that was all that went down in Dorne.
Yeah. Anyway, so whether like they mentioned Dorne, it's the Martells. The Martells have not had a good run.
No.
Okay, so anyway, so he narrowly misses out on that piece of information that Rhaegar and Lyanna made Jon, and then he narrowly misses out on the information that he's the head of his household. And so then he's off with a couple of books.
He's gonna misfile his taxes.
yeah, boy. Yeah. He's not kept the right receipts, but they will. My guess is there'll become another episode, a moment in another episode, where he turns to his woman, I forget her name, Betsy, and says, "Wait, who did Rhaegar get?"
Totally, he's gonna have it.
It's like, I need to go back and get that book.
You were telling me about,
and she's not gonna remember. He's gonna be like, "You gotta remember, you gotta remember." And
she will remember. She will remember because we got that tip that she remembers things.
That's
when he said about
the steps.
You know, all how many shits he had, and she's like.
That was steps. That was steps.
Oh, that was a hint
of that. And so we're gonna get this hint that she actually has this.
He's gonna figure it out, but Bran, as you said, Bran already kind of knows, but
he's not. But Bran he's not gonna figure it out. She's going to specifically tell him.
And Bran is not a good. I mean, if you're the three-eyed raven, like you got to be a good communicator. And Bran, Bran is not. Bran is not like I have so much to tell all of you guys.
That's the thing.
Gather around.
But you need both pieces, though, right? You need Bran. All that Bran really knows is that Lyanna had Rhaegar's baby, right? That's all he knows. He doesn't know. He didn't witness.
But he knows. But
he knows that they had a kid,
and he knows Ned did not have a bastard.
Ned's kid.
So that means that Jon is Rhaegar's bastard, as far as Bran knows. The missing piece of that is that then we have to get Samwell say, "Oh wait, they were married," making Jon the heir.
And the direct heir.
Which actually,
that's a good
so not a bastard, right?
Here's the thing, actually, so that means that Jon is the legit heir of the Targaryen line, I think before Dany is.
Yeah, no, it does, because Dany and Viserys were born after Rhaegar. Several, like 10 to 15 years after Rhaegar. And so yeah, Jon would be the next line.
Assuming that we go by primogeniture.
And how did Rhaegar die? Rhaegar got
killed by Robert Baratheon
in battle.
So which means that he's actually, I think, in line before Dany. And good news, he's already king of the North. Done.
Well, they're gonna get married at the end, right? And then it's gonna be king and queen. So, I mean, that's what it's leading to. It's Game of Thrones, so it might not.
And Richard is gonna be looking at him the whole time like, he'll be best man, but he won't like it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people who won't like it. So she looked at him too many times.
Oh my God.
Like, we're like, hey, I got it. She's into him, right? We already kind of knew that. Now you beat us over you beat us over the head with it with Gendry's hammer, right? She's into him, and he is like the most serious dude on the planet. He's like, okay, there's like no women that are, let alone attractive, let alone whatever. And here is the queen that's probably going to rule all the kingdoms, and she's super hot. Right?
But it's like a guy. It's like
let me show you the drawings in the cave.
It's like a guy who could marry a Bush daughter who's in junior league. But Jon, he likes a wildling.
Yeah, he felt. Yeah, his heart.
He likes a townie.
His heart died when that arrow pierced her.
Yeah.
Listen, who's more wild than the?
I'm with.
It's still his
Jon.
niece.
But it is. Yeah. So we don't know whether he bent the knee in the cave.
No,
he didn't.
No, because he said by the boat, "I'm a king."
I know, but
before he left, he said,
"I'm a king."
But she said to him, "I disagree that we know." because
he hasn't bent the knee.
But we literally didn't. I mean, she said bend the knee. They're in the cave, and the next shot we have is them walking out of the cave together.
But didn't she say in the previous episode, "I will let you go if you bend the knee"? And he still had to like put his point out, saying, "I can go whenever I want."
Yeah, that's right. So I'm saying we don't know what happened.
I agree with
in that
both
cave.
of you guys. We don't know with 100% certainty, but we have a sense that like we knew Jamie was going to be rescued. Otherwise, he would have been burnt to death by the dragon.
I can't believe we wouldn't see him actually.
No, we might go. We may get a little. I don't know. We'll flashback,
we didn't see
we'll find out
how
later.
Jamie came like resurfaced. So who knows?
All right, what else we got?
But I just want to double down on Matt's great point that I think Meredith was leading to as well, which is the annulment is key there, absolutely key. It makes John the king.
The annulment and the secret ceremony.
Yeah, because the annulment leads to the secret ceremony, which means he's not a bastard.
No,
never been a bastard. So, boy, have they gotten his last name wrong for so many different reasons. He's not a Snow. He's not a Stark. Actually, he's a full-blooded Targaryen. Not a full-blooded Targaryen, but he's a Targaryen.
He's a Targaryen and a Stark, but with
a Stargaryen.
Right, a Targaryen.
Or we find out.
But I'm saying from the dad's side.
Yeah, right.
Or we find out that Rhaegar had.
He's not Jewish either. Turns out.
Rhaegar had also secretly married Tywin's wife, and Tyrion is his son.
Oh.
Okay.
No.
So, like Tyrion, I wrote down like who Tyrion has cool friendships with, like Varys, Jorah, Jon, Bronn, and Jaime. And I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. Like he's just. Like he's
a connector.
He connects. Yeah,
Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book about it.
Yeah, people like Tyrion. They just like him.
Yeah, he's a likable chap.
Yeah,
and they don't seem as threatening for obvious reasons. So that also helps. And they seem as honest. So all the good guys like him.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like we know that if you get to be friends with Tyrion, like you're all right.
Yeah, and so one more thing about Tyrion and Tywin, which was also driving me crazy in the episode, which is like they keep holding him accountable for killing the dad, completely putting aside the fact that the dad was going to kill him.
Yeah,
so he finally said it in that scene.
You're like,
but the whole time I'm like, look, if you were going to kill me, I think I'm fully within my rights to kill you, and you don't get to hold it over my head. Right. Like that's like really like you find that to be deeply immoral?
I want to point out that's a great moment that like of emotion that from a bunch of scenes that we've gotten, especially in this episode from Dinklage, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's such a great reminder that Dinklage is such a terrific actor, right? Like we see him looking so kind of shocked during the battle scenes and the aftermath of the battle, and he's sickened by it, right? And so when there's that fear and hopefulness when he meets Jaime, and then you finally see that kind of that pain that he's been holding back for so long. Like, Father hated me just for what I was. Do you think I wanted to be like this? That was, it was all undeserved, and it hits Jaime enough, and Jaime can't even handle it. And Jaime's like, okay, so why are you here?
Yeah, right. Jaime does not want to get sentimental though, but it does land. He does believe everything that he said, and he convinced Cersei too of it with that nice line about, oh, she bought it when her face changed when he's like, would you want your daughter to marry Joffrey or Tommen?
Right?
Oh yeah, that was the winning line.
Yeah, but now Cersei's thinking like, oh, I can use this parlay to secretly get closer to Daenerys and kill her. I mean, that's what that whole scene played out
definitely,
for me.
no question. Cersei is not. Cersei's got to have her own plan.
She will always do.
Jaime's the Kingslayer. This to me, Jaime kills Cersei. He does, and probably his baby in the process, if that's true. But I think he does it like in death. Like Jaime's like, I'm killing you, I'm out.
And we're done with the Lannisters.
Right, we're done with the Lannisters.
Yeah.
Maybe even kills himself, but he's like,
I will point out, so we see the scene, speaking of people who are getting killed, right? We got a scene where we know that there's a sense that there's the possibility that Drogon could be ridden by Jon. Right?
Yes.
Right.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
So that potentially means Dany's expendable.
That's another great point.
From a storytelling
I hadn't
standpoint,
thought about it that way.
Like,
now Dany is potentially killable.
That was another weird thing because like we have this incredible moment between Dragon the Dragon and Jon, right? Cousin Jon, where the dragon's like, I know you, we're the same, right?
Right.
So the dragon senses it again, which I think buttresses the earlier point that the dragons communicate the Targaryens.
Yeah.
So when they know what she wants. So, but then he gets off the dragon and she's like, they're great, aren't they? And he's like, yeah, they're quite a thing. Like neither of them are like, what was that?
Right.
Right. Like why did the dragon come right to you? And that no one can touch a dragon except me. And he just did with you. They're not like. They don't have the most obvious.
I think
conversation
Dany was too smitten at that moment.
Because, well, right. Because there's also, Jon's got no, I mean, the thing is, we keep talking about all this theories about Jon. As far as Jon knows, he's still Ned's bastard. And that's it.
Yeah.
Like, he's got no clue.
He also wouldn't know that only Targaryens have a relationship with dragons. I mean, this is kind of coming out to everyone. Though it makes me think, we have 3 dragons, we have 2 potential riders. Either a dragon is gonna die without ever being ridden by someone else, or there's a 3rd piece of Targaryen out there.
There was in one of the.
Oh, that's another great point. That means 2 dragons can be ridden.
Yeah. I will point out that early on in one of the books, Tywin did have a suspicion that I think Aerys, like the Mad King, had slept with his wife, and that.
Who had a suspicion?
Tywin. That actually Tyrion might be a Targaryen bastard.
Oh, so you're not kidding?
Yeah.
I wasn't really kidding. I mean, I kind of was.
Wait, did Tyrion have a moment with the dragons in the?
I think
he
just
did.
walking down.
Oh yeah, you're right. In the dungeon, you're right.
He did also have a moment with the dragons down there back to a couple years ago.
Yes.
Oh, I love these reviews.
So 3, they're all riding them in to battle.
I mean, now granted, the dragon was on the chain that she gave to the slaver guy.
But he could have fired on him.
He didn't fireball him.
It's over.
No.
That's
it.
We're done with this discussion,
So
but in a
maybe
good
Tyrion
way.
is not actually a Lannister.
And part of the reason why Tywin hated him
But
so
so
much.
he's still, but he's still Jaime and Cersei's half brother.
Right, but not Tywin's.
Right, but not Tywin's son
at all.
And in fact, the opposite, and accidentally killed his wife. And
was that just in the books, or did we?
So it was in the books that I mean, we know that when Tyrion was born, his mother died in childbirth. I can't remember her name.
Also Betsy.
And I don't remember who mentions it, but there was at some point. I read in the books that Tywin, either Tyrion says it or somebody says that Tywin had suspected that I believe Aerys, Mad King Aerys, had slept with Tywin's wife because it almost in some sort of kind of put him in his place because Aerys was really upset. He thought Tywin was getting like too big for his.
Aerys was the Mad King?
Yeah.
And so, which is part of why Tywin had retreated to Casterly Rock when the war was happening. And then
okay, so that's a total book thing. That was never in the show.
That was not in there, but I feel
so that makes a huge difference.
But I do feel like we heard from
Tywin
suggest that you're probably like and people will tell us online, and then you guys will tell me whether they said it because I'm not reading the comments. Of whether Tywin ever said in the show to Tyrion, like, I don't even think you're.
I think somebody's mentioned. I think.
I don't know.
I mean, if they said it, they really barely implied it.
Maybe they're not all riding 3 dragons, but nonetheless, the thing about the dragon did not fireball Tyrion and did seem to bond with him, unquestionably bonded with him.
Yeah, Drogo gave him his head, and that was, and like I loved how Jon just instinctively removed his glove and just, like that was just.
Yeah, he knows.
You know, last week you guys weren't here, but last week I was like, it'd be okay. I mean, if Bronn killed Drogo, I wouldn't have been upset, and I'm like, oh no, we needed that.
Tyrion has said that when he was a kid, and I think when he went down there, he talked about when he was a little boy, all he ever wanted was a dragon.
That's true.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, this thing's already over. 3 dragons, 3 Targaryens on him. Let's go to war. And will you go to King's Landing or? Okay, no, I'm fast.
Which means that Dany and Tyrion are brother sister.
Dany and Tyrion are brother sister.
Right.
Yes.
Which means that they are more likely to end up married than Dany and her uncle.
No.
Wait, so Dany and Tyrion, if that theory is true,
they're half siblings, and according to Targaryen tradition, siblings get married.
Okay, that's not happening.
That's not happening. No, because we're not opening in the first episode or the first shot, basically, of a brother and sister being intimate. And then,
oh my God, I just figured it out. Yeah. Okay, so I didn't figure it out, but I realized another awesome, stunning possibility. The person who could sit on the throne is Tyrion.
Right.
Because now, because he can ride dragons too because of all of this, we know that
he is a bastard Targaryen.
Yeah, Dany is expendable, but so is Jon Snow, and he is a Targaryen, so he could sit on the throne.
And so
damn, that just happened.
Except that it has to there has to be some
show
acknowledgement of that, right? There has to be some record that shows.
Yeah, they haven't set it up very well, so it would be surprising. They really have to throw that last second curveball, you know, kind of Nathaniel Hawthorne-ish. Oh, it's a good thing I left my bow and arrow in the canoe earlier.
Yeah, because the only thing that what they haven't done in the show, what they've done in the books, is that Rhaegar. There's suspicion that Rhaegar's son was still alive because there was a kid in the book who was claiming that he was the son, and they dealt with him when they were going through the whole like grayscale area, and he may or may not have lived. It's been forever, but that's the only thing that I'm like, it could throw us for a loop depending on how much the show is deviating from the books.
Yeah, see, I don't think they've picked up and are going to pick up that story. No. I actually think we're done with everything across the scene.
I agree.
Okay, so we got to go to the next scene, but so last thing on the Targaryens is, boy, we know who got the short end of the stick on the jeans. So you've got these amazing Daenerys, Jon Snow, Tyrion, Varys. Like the clownish, not Varys, sorry, the Dany's original brother, Viserys, sorry, Viserys, like, oh my God, they took every shitty Targaryen gene and threw it in him.
Yeah,
well, like compared to these legends.
Well, so that's what they talk about. They talk about with the Targaryens, it's a coin flip.
Yeah.
Like 50-50 chance they end up bonkers. And if they're not bonkers, they're usually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I think we're supposed to still wonder about Dany, although that's probably unfair. She's probably...
No, it's not unfair. They're definitely giving you hints that it's possible.
They're giving us hints that it's possible. I think that overall it's unfair. Like she's done... She's established
done the Lord's work.
She's done the Lord's work.
Lord of the
so
Lights
before we switch completely away, I knew you wanted because we got Gendry, and we got that wonderful scene on the beach. You know, in the Onion Knight.
That scene
was
great.
A lot of the Onion Knight, if they steal our boat, we're bucked. You know, and then just the use of a hammer. Like Gendry's hammer is a phrase that we should all.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we get a spin-off Game of Thrones show, I want the adventures of Sir Davos.
Totally. Oh, Sir Davos.
Yes.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, I won't be going with you.
I want the Davos the Smuggler show.
So
that would be.
It could be a prequel too.
Yes.
Yeah, it could be.
I'd love that.
That would be super fun.
And you know, Davos at some point would come, would like cross in the middle of the night with Euron. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? There would be some scene with Euron and Davos in the prequel. But there's a couple of things.
The young Indiana Jones adventures.
Yeah.
The young Davos Seaworth adventures.
All right. Be pre-Onion Night.
Yeah.
So two things about that. Number one, he had that great line.
Two lines you loved. And nothing fucks you harder than time.
Oh God, that's such a great line. That's gonna be like, if I have a tagline, that's gonna be it. Cenk Uygur, nothing fucks you harder than time.
That should go on your tombstone.
And,
that's right. It should go on all of our tombstones.
Right.
Nobody mind me. All I've ever done is live to a ripe old age.
Yes, that's right. Because you know why? Look, in my personal life, I'm like, I don't know. We've done things. Right? We built a 100-person company and stuff. No one trusts me. like, oh yeah, you're an idiot, right? And I felt like when Davos Seaworth said that, I was like, it hit home. I was like, yeah, never mind me.
Right.
What would I know?
Right. Oh, listen, believe me, I had those moments too. Like, oh yeah, no, I sure clearly don't know what I'm doing with Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And anyway, and then the last thing is Gendry's hammer. He's like now this, like they've made it the Avengers, and now he's Thor, right? And that is a super cool hammer. They've got great weapons here. Don't make me add W to Vilms. But boy, do they have wonderful weapons. How's the dagger going to be used? The one that was brought back by Littlefinger, and and how is and we're going to see the hammer. And then we saw in the preview the fire, the sword on fire from the Lord of Light guy. oh, that's badass. But I don't like them running away. That was bad.
What's the difference between intrigue and mystery?
Mystery is I don't know what's going to happen. Is Jamie going to be pulled out of the lake or not?
That's mystery, and intrigue is like plotting.
That's right. Varys, Littlefinger. Oh, intrigue. Perfect example was this episode when Littlefinger puts a fake note and tricks Arya into getting that note to sow more dissension.
Maybe a fake note, or maybe he just knows that she's got the note and he'll react accordingly.
But whatever is in the note is something Littlefinger wanted Arya to know or think.
And I'm sure Sansa's name was at the end of that note. I mean, the great thing about we can go back and watch it. What you have the note?
To have
you have the note? Oh, fantastic!
Oh, great! They did a screen capture or whatever.
Picture of the note. Here we go. Say it in an accent.
Oh wait, don't. Now it disappeared.
Oh
wait a minute, where did it go?
Oh, see, it's in the mattress. It's in the mattress.
Give me a moment, I'll find it.
Yeah. Okay. So we had a little bit of a sense as we were watching it live that Littlefinger was setting up Arya, and we didn't know what, but we said as she was going into the room, into his room, feels like a trap, and then we were wondering if Littlefinger was going to come back in and kill her, but that doesn't make any sense.
I thought they'd be there and have a conversation. I don't think we're not going to kill Arya.
Because you're not going to kill Arya Stark, right?
I mean, you're not going to kill Arya Stark in Winterfell because it would be a terrible thing for you to do, and you're not going to be able to do it. You're Littlefinger.
And he saw the sword fight, and he's not stupid. And that's not what Littlefinger does. This is what Littlefinger does.
However, this is what Littlefinger does. You're right, but bear in mind that and her breaking in, she was super clunky. You know, she was like,
she barely walked down the hall,
making all this noise,
but it doesn't matter. He knew she was going to break in.
He knew. But also keep in mind that as great as he is at intrigue and staying one step ahead, everybody, she's kind of the master of it. So
yeah, that's why.
So I bet.
But that was that I felt like in some ways that scene was an ode to Littlefinger, where the show is telling you, no, everybody's great at things, and Arya is wonderful now, is trained assassin and can take other forms and is an amazing character. And Bran can see the future and the past and all this stuff. But don't forget, Littlefinger is the smartest motherfucker in the kingdoms. And so he could even outsmart one of the great assassins in the world.
I got you.
Here's do you want to know what the
real quick though? But yes, to that, just to finish the Arya Littlefinger point before we get to what the note said. I agree. All those things are true about Littlefinger, but no one is now as good as outsmarting people as Arya. He's ahead.
Yeah.
He's got
age on his side.
He took a lead. She's going to figure it out, and he's going to get added to the list.
But remember,
she's going to kill him.
a hothead. No, I'm voting Littlefinger. He's going to outsmart her.
So
she
the
kills
note
him. Yeah.
Is not a made up note.
Okay.
It seems. The note seems to be the very note that Cersei had forced Arya to write about telling Robb to come and bend the knee.
The note, say that again?
So it's the note.
Cersei made Arya write a note telling Robb to come bend a knee.
Right.
I don't remember that. Did that happen in the show?
This was in the first season. Second season, I think. Robb, so this is around the time that that Ned had been captured. Before Ned gets killed. Robb, I write to you with a heavy heart. Our good King Robert is dead, killed from wounds he took in a boar hunt. Father has been charged with treason. He conspired with Robert's brothers against my beloved Joffrey and tried to steal his throne. Lannisters are treating me very well, provide me with every comfort. I beg you, come to King's Landing, swear fealty to King Joffrey, and prevent any strife between the great houses of Lannister and Stark.
Signed Sansa, so I'm right.
Sansa.
It was signed
Wait, it's
Sansa.
not Arya, it's Sansa.
Sansa wrote that.
Sorry, it's Sansa's note. So that we see enough in the screenshot that matches that original note that Robb had gotten from her.
Okay, so so he want and now Arya has this note and is gonna presumably
say, what the fuck were you doing?
You wanted our brother to come bend the knee, or you were always in league with Cersei. You wanted to be queen so badly. You were ready to sell out the whole family.
Than that, you sold out father.
Yeah, you sold out dad. Even though we know, so he is trying. So Littlefinger is trying to separate Arya and Sansa.
Right, because Sansa.
Definitely. That's clear. Yeah.
Because this is the key thing in that note. Sansa basically says in the note, father conspired and tried to steal the throne, which
is not true.
Is not true.
Right.
And
so
that potentially shatters that relationship between the two.
I think it's that proverbial straw because we already have Arya calling out Sansa, like, why didn't you stand up for Jon? You know, why did you sit there and listen to everyone? You didn't defend our brother.
And so then if Sansa tries to attack, I'm sorry, if Arya tries to attack Sansa,
she will.
Then
not attack like literally, but like
not necessarily. I could see her losing it in that moment, and they get in a fight, and she physically attacks her, maybe not with lethal intent, but enough that Arya and Sansa in front of the rest of the lords,
like Brienne has to stop Arya or something,
Yeah.
Okay, I hear you guys.
Like that could go real south.
This is exactly why I'm saying that Littlefinger is going to outsmart her because she's a hothead. So if she goes takes the note to Sansa, Sansa's going to say, "They made me write that, and they told me that this is what would save father," right? And Arya is not going to believe her. We know that she's not going to believe her, and
you
she
just want to
should.
be married to Joffrey.
Yeah, but I don't.
How could you lie like that?
I don't think that. They're going to get driven apart, and they are going to come back together.
They will.
That's going to take a while.
Even if it's not selling out father, what Arya won't be able to accept is that Sansa would write something that, even knowingly, that false. Arya will not be able to accept that Sansa.
Yeah, she would have. Arya would have been like, I don't care if they were going to kill you. Don't do it.
Kill everybody. I don't care.
Despite her like moral gray area of I can kill people, it's based on like a very black and white idea. Like we kill bad people's family sticks together.
That's why Littlefinger is smarter.
Yeah.
So okay,
I got you. Arya Stark will kill the mayor of Baltimore in Game of Thrones. I will bet you $250.
No, I won't bet you because you might be right at the end.
Yeah,
but
how much money do I get if Tyrion ends up being a Targaryen?
Okay,
that's good stuff.
How much do I get?
No, but
I'll buy you coffee. I'll get you a tiki drink.
No, but we all agree already.
Yeah.
So look, Ben,
You get a Mai Tai.
Arya could kill Littlefinger, but only because power is power. You see what I'm saying? And she's a hothead, so she's like, and by the way, in her case, she'd be right. You should kill Littlefinger right now. But give me the gun,
But remember,
I'll do it. Right? Give me the dagger, I'll do it. Right?
He just wants the chaos because that's his last.
Right, but she'll figure.
He's not the mayor of Baltimore.
He's gonna outsmart her, drive them apart, do tons of damage. But like 7 years later, she might be like, okay, dagger.
No, it's not gonna be 7 years later. It's gonna be during this. Look,
I just figured something really important out.
Yeah.
If chaos is the ladder, then Littlefinger is not the mayor of Baltimore. He's fucking Putin. Like he's just making everything messy, so he'll win.
That's right. No, I'm just saying, look, I think you underestimate Arya. Yes, she's a hothead, but she is less of a hothead than she used to be. People have come off her list. She is figuring that her conversation with Sansa was great. She was abrupt, she was overly harsh, she showed zero sympathy for how Sansa has grown, right? But they were both right. Almost in everything they said, they were both right.
So maybe they together plot an intrigue to outsmart Littlefinger.
I think that the Stark girls were maybe both of them together. Maybe I sold Sansa short. The Stark girls are gonna Littlefinger.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I think a lot of us sell Sansa short because we're used to her being this, girl who loves finery and just wants, good things. And that Arya did rightfully call her out that you're, she didn't say it, but you're basically having Cersei-isms happening in your head. So I feel like if they can come together in the next episode or the following episode,
or next season,
or next season. But I think I'd like to, that we're kind of.
I think they'll be split at the end of this season.
Yeah, I feel like they're stronger together, but they've always been apart. So it has to be something because this could also be the thing that Arya causes her to go 5 steps backwards and decide that she loses that grounding that she's found.
That's why I think she should go to AA meetings, Assassin Anonymous. So to keep her on the straight and narrow. Anyway, our bet is over because I was going to say, if you say Arya kills Littlefinger by the end of this season, I'll take your bet.
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
I mean, there's 2 episodes left. But didn't Jon Didn't Jon come back to Winterfell? Right, that last meeting he was at Winterfell, right?
No, he was at Eastwatch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is the
city at the end
opposite of Baywatch.
So So we haven't yet got the Stark because we didn't get the Stark family, but he's not back. Okay, that was somewhere else.
So I'll throw another complication in with the Sansa Arya story. What if Gendry survives and is in line to marry the eldest Stark daughter?
No, Gendry is just a guy with a hammer. I don't
think so.
That's what they said about Thor.
Guess that we're not. Gendry is not a factor in.
But why would he marry the eldest?
Well, but
I mean,
because she's next in line, right? If something happens to Jon, and
they could rule the North together, but they're not getting back on the throne.
But Arya's not going to like. That's going to really mess with Arya because she loves Gendry.
He's not. He's not. Arya will marry Gendry because they'll want us to have a happy ending, and he'll be like, oh, she'll be like, hit that shit with
the. Have a happy ending. Gendry's short for this world. I didn't even see him running away at the end of the preview. But remember, they're going out there Magnificent Seven style, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But remember, they're not coming back 7, so just hold on the hammer.
No, the guy with one eye and Thoros and Mir, the guy with the flaming sword and the guy with the man bun, they're not coming back.
William Hurt's a dead man. The eye patch dude, remember, can be reborn. So unless he's, I don't know, but he could be reborn as a walker. I don't know.
Oh.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Do you think man bun William Hurt is short for the world?
Oh, definitely. Because of those 7, if somebody's not coming back, he's wearing the red shirt.
I think Gendry is going to come back because I'm now into the Gendry Arya romance, and like she's going to be like, and he's going to be like, doom doom, and they're going to love it,
And it might be the one thing that softens her.
Yeah, right.
I mean, she really liked him. Yeah, but then again, when she saw hot pie, she was kind of like, just give me a pie.
No, that's
she
a
really
thing.
I forgot how close they were.
That's why. That's why I think he's going to survive the Magnificent Seven.
I think he's not going to see her. He's going to see her as that kind of tomboy, and I won't be surprised to see him fall for Sansa.
All right, let's see if he survives first.
That could be another division.
Right,
between them. Right?
That's the thing. Like
Arya's like, oh, look at him, and she's like, oh.
But
I mean, look, like you
almost certainly won't happen, but it's interesting.
Well, think of it from a script writing and storytelling standpoint, right? Like you can send any idiot with a hammer up with those guys, right? But it means something that it's the guy who's previously connected to Arya that we haven't seen all along, and is potentially in line for the throne represented, the claim represented by the
actor waiting for
right?
Are they gonna call me back? I live.
Well, so that the actor was probably thinking the same exact thing as the character. He's like, now let me tell you to convince you to come out. He's like, all right, I'm in. He's like, can't wait. Let me just grab the hammer.
You're free for 2 episodes? He's like, oh.
What else?
So just one last thing about the Arya conversation. In case you guys, I just want to fill in why we all think they're both correct. So Sansa in the back of her head probably thinks, well, if Jon doesn't come back, at least I'm ruling the place. And that's the sense that we get of that character right now. She doesn't think it in the front of her head, and if she does, she feels bad about it. But Arya's probably right, it is in the back of her head. But Arya, being the hothead, doesn't understand the incredible importance of alliances because she's an assassin, she works alone.
That's right, what Sansa said was right. The alliance is like, this is how we did it. This is how we took back Winterfell.
That's right, so Sansa's incredibly right, but Arya's also right.
And Arya's point of view is like, well, fuck you, I had snuck in and just knifed everybody.
Right.
Okay.
Right, but no. So in fact, I think Sansa was more right because Arya's point resonates because we know that's what Sansa was like as a little girl, right? She wanted, she was dazzled by the fancy dresses and the opportunity to go to King's Landing, and it was exciting, and the King's coming, and oh, isn't Joffrey pretty? But we really haven't seen many signs of that.
No,
lately.
Not since she was not the Bolton.
Except that, keep in mind, she is dressed real well.
I got it. Yeah, she's the lady of Winterfell. Those clothes exist. Yeah. She's still. She was practical.
She dresses more glam than we ever saw her mother dressed walking around Winterfell.
And
but that was her mom.
She has their parents' room, right, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So no. Just like Arya and Sansa, which is perfectly appropriate. You're both right. Which is that Sansa still has that in her. But she's very right about the alliances, and she's way more right than Arya in terms of.
I bet that if we were to get the showrunners, and you can on demand, you can see their conversation afterwards. That we're not like we don't know whether Arya is right. She was right before. We actually don't know. We say it. Arya says it, but I mean, okay. It made Jon said sleep in our parents' room. She said I don't think so, and he was like, no, you're the lady of Winterfell. It's the nicest room in the house. You go sleep there.
John did. So like, and she's. I forgot that.
And we've seen her be like, oh no, sharpen the sword this way. That'll be better, and move it. She was like, making stuff happen around Winterfell.
Yeah, and remember, that's another thing that I let go. Like I'm earlier in this review, let the Jaime Lannister and the lake thing go. Is that Sansa was stupid, now she's smart. that drives me crazy, but I'm past it. So let's just say she was young and now she's mature.
I don't have any problem.
She's learned a lot.
She's
That was
gone
a
through.
kid. She was a kid.
But I'm past the stupid. My point is, whether I'm right or wrong about that, it's irrelevant. Now she's smart. We all agree she matured or whatever happened, and she's smart. So we all think
seen some things.
Just let me again. I think we all agree. I think they were both right, but Sansa was far more right.
Sansa was more right about what was important now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Sansa was more practical
But where Arya is still right is that Littlefinger needs to get killed.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, right.
Her instinct on had as an assassin is exactly right.
And Sansa's not right enough about Littlefinger, even though she has said last episode, like, or the conversation with Arya, she was like, oh yeah, that guy. I mean, what he says is what suits him.
No. But there's a little bit. There's just like a 7% of her affinity for Littlefinger. She's got the white hot hatred kind of, and a very 110% skepticism, rightfully so. But I feel like she has some connection to Littlefinger she can't quite let go.
Unless amongst the things she's learned is how to be like him, and she's setting him up with the long game.
Arya
which would be so satisfying.
That's great. It's just like she did, not the long game, but she killed the other bastard, Ramsay Bolton,
with his dog,
with his method,
right?
And if she kills Littlefinger with his method,
that's a good point, because we have seen Sansa pick up things from the people that do her wrong, and there's this.
Like they could have a revenge like Sansa could have a revenge conversation with Arya, be like, you don't think I get revenge?
Right.
Let me tell you.
Let me show you.
Oh, you should.
Right.
Like,
I mean, that is a good convincing point, because Arya will get hard over that Ramsay Bolton killing.
But then could also say, look, let me let you in on a secret. Here's the long game I'm playing with Littlefinger.
Yeah. Right.
And now I'm telling you, because now you're going to help me.
So we might just see that confrontation with the letter, and then we might actually lay their cards on the table.
That somehow this gets that they somehow obviously.
Right. I think we need to really watch what happens with Sansa and Littlefinger, because we're not going to see any hint of it until it happens, and then we're going to go back and see all this other stuff and be like, it'd be like the end of the heist movie, like, oh.
And Bran, like, help out with Littlefinger.
No. So I have a theory on that too. By the way, we've now set up a great mystery over probably next episode, but certainly within the next 2 episodes, of which way is it going to go when Sansa and Arya have that conflict. Is Littlefinger going to win in that he splits them apart, or is Sansa in a sense going to win by telling Arya, getting her on his side, and outsmarting Littlefinger?
What if Sansa? I mean, you can do what if all the time. What if Sansa is telling her ladies in waiting to feed Littlefinger info that is false?
Yeah. So that's very possible.
I mean,
now that we think Sansa's picked up all the
that's intrigue.
Exactly.
And that is what Littlefinger would do. That's what Sansa would do now.
Arya can only take the face of dead people, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So
because I like the idea of Arya taking Sansa's face and killing Littlefinger, but Sansa can't.
No.
Unless there was other unfortunate things. Okay, Bran Stark. You have to remember. So it's like that's the kind of thing I'd get annoyed by. Hey, you know the past, you know the future. Tell them. Let's go.
Yeah.
Raven, blah, blah, blah. Tell them what's wrong with you. Give me the Raven. I'll tell them. Right. But we have to keep in mind he's not Bran Stark. He's the three-eyed Raven. So that's why.
And I think part of it too is he has to be triggered to say that thing. Like I think there's a sense of like he's got all this information, but he doesn't know what he knows.
Still totally how to know.
Yeah.
Right? And he doesn't know how to download it.
Well, and the other part of it too is I think that he doesn't quite. I don't know how much you get. He has a sense of what is the future and what is the past, and I think it just comes up when it's relevant.
Yeah.
Like when there's somebody that he says something to that it actually affects.
And he doesn't like, he has a dog in the fight against the White Walkers, but he really doesn't have a dog in the fight as the three-eyed Raven in what's happening in Westeros.
He's not fully the three-eyed Raven.
I mean,
but remember when the little girl was leaving, she said, "You're not Bran Stark."
I know,
but he died in that cave.
Yeah, but she was super emotional.
No, I get you. Bran Stark is like, okay, let's put it. He's like, he's still 25% Bran Stark. He realizes these were my sisters,
right?
These humanoids, right? But he's mainly the three-eyed Raven. That's why when he tells Sansa the thing about how you look beautiful in that dress, he has no emotion like, oh, that was a terrible night for you, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he didn't think of the
He's just like, oh,
consequences.
you look beautiful in the dress right before these horrific things happen, right? So he's not connecting in a human way.
Yeah, I equated it last week to Bran is essentially like the Watchers in the Marvel universe. They can oversee, they know everything, but only in great times when the world is about to be destroyed do they step in. And I think, Bran can do something about the White Walkers, but I also agree with that point that he even said, he's like, it's like seeing the past, the future, and the present all at the same time. And how do you exist as a think about this, a young boy. He's still a young boy, no matter what's going on in his head.
It's like 6'8".
Yeah, he is a young kid who all of this was just thrust upon him, and he's had maybe a year
What's
at
the
tops.
character in Slaughterhouse-5?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Where like he's unstuck in time and he can't tell the past from the future.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
The giant blue guy. In what's the giant blue guy with the? What am I thinking?
Oh, Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan.
In
Yeah,
Watchmen.
and very similar.
Very similar.
Yeah.
And I think it's frustrating. I think as a viewer and as a fan, I just kind of want to throttle Bran and be like, come on, kid, just get on it. Like these are still your family.
When does Bran meet Bran?
By the way, the Bron line of dragons is where we part company.
So what do you think?
Yeah, and I kind of wanted when
dragons is where our partnership ends.
Right, I kind of wanted to hear when Cersei says, "Well, we'll hire mercenaries." I kind of wanted to say, hear Jamie say, "Let's talk about that," because mine just left. Right.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a good point.
Mine said, "Fuck off." To the dragon.
I think he was about to, but then Cersei dropped the baby bomb on him.
Well, but he also said that mercenaries can't beat the Dothraki. Like
Yeah.
I've seen these guys, we're fucked.
Yeah,
And they
that
have
was a
dragon.
great ode to the Dothraki, and I love the Dothraki, so that I felt really good about that.
Yeah.
Like, man, now it seems like a million lifetimes ago, but there was a question in the first season of, well, who is better? Is it the Dothraki or these knights are going to come in and they're going to outsmart them and strategize?
Nope. Dothraki.
No, it turns out the Dothraki are as badass as we suspected. That if they cross the seas, you're all in for a world of hurt. And so,
yeah, but his line about they to them they killing us was sport, right? But that's the way it is for every.
Not really.
Dick
Dick Tarley was like, he didn't enjoy it. He was like,
no, he didn't.
He
but
was
it was his
shaken
first
by,
time. Yeah,
they're Spartans.
yeah. And the Dothraki, they like it. That's their thing.
But that's their life. I mean, that's all they know. They grow up and live and breathe fighting and dying and killing.
It's just a quick point about lines, because there were so many great lines, and there was the line at the end with the baby about and what would father and the lion doesn't care for the opinions of the sheep, which I think is nearly identical to the line that the Dothraki have. Remember
who said line the sheep? Cersei.
Cersei. Well,
Cersei said
Jeremy.
Jamie said it because Cersei said, "Remember what Dad used to say."
Oh yeah, right.
Right. And the Dothraki, remember, that's why they were so pissed at Dany, because she listened to the sheep.
Yeah.
And then the sheep, and then the magic potion killed Khal Drogo, right? And they were like, no, the lion doesn't care about the opinion of the sheep. We're the lion, they're the sheep. That's what literally they would call them, right? The sheep.
Right.
Cersei, but Cersei, one, there was the great moment in the Jamie Cersei conversation where you pointed out, Meredith, it's great when Cersei realizes she's not as smart as she thinks she is. So, but
I love those moments when she finds those out.
But also then she makes a lot of mistakes, right? Cersei. I mean, for somebody who's, she's brutal and smart and sophisticated, and but that said, like she I think lies about being pregnant.
She might not be pregnant, or it might not be Jamie's.
Right, not be Jamie's, but so she's like, tells him, I'm gonna say you're the father, so that you're, and Jamie loves that, right? And so he makes out with her, and then she can't help herself. Like she wins, Jamie does not trust her. He's ready to, at some point we think like, Bronn is like, yeah, world there's Cersei's in charge of, there'll be a lot of order, it'll go great, sure, and Jamie knows it's true. Right?
Yeah.
But then still he gets caught up.
Which was the thing that I said at the beginning of the show, where like maybe Jamie threw himself in front of that dragon because he realizes that he's stuck with the person he loves.
Yeah.
So but
it's
he's
all going to go.
So that dragon move was a win-win for him. So let me just touch back on that.
Right.
Either he gets Dany, he wins the war, and he's the hero of heroes, or he gets burned alive by the dragon and he's done with this bullshit.
I feel
it's total win-win for him, except Bronn was a pain in his ass and saved him.
So Cersei smartly gets him back on her side. And then she says the thing she can't help. Like, they're hugging, they made out, and it's romantic, we're gonna be a family. And then she says, if you ever cross me
don't
again,
betray me again.
don't betray me again. And he makes eye contact with the camera, everybody that's happened for the 50,000th time in the history of Hollywood. And like he's reminded of, she's evil, I can't trust her, she'll betray me. Like she had won that moment. Right, and then she can't leave it alone.
But you can argue it's a mistake, and you can argue it's not a mistake. I mean, that's what she does, right?
Well,
carrot and stick.
As we're talking,
but ultimately, if her goal was to win him over, she just did it. So at some point,
she didn't need to,
and then she undid it.
Yeah.
And here's the problem with Jamie, and I think we've been getting a lot of hints about this, is that he hates himself so much for loving Cersei at this point, but he knows he can't stop it, and so he keeps going back to her despite any better judgment. And I do agree that I think he tried to almost kill himself, suicide by police, if you will.
Suicide by dragon.
Yeah, by dragon.
One of the, that's a good point, because one of the first things we hear from him at the end of the first, or not first thing, but what we hear from him
is
close to the end of that first episode when he pushes Bran out the window. He says, the things I do for love.
Yeah, right.
Right? And yeah, we're still there with him, but now he's gone on this journey as a person where he has, he's flirted with some level of redemption, and maybe we've seen him become somewhat more present in the things that he does, and some more aware of who he is as a person and how his actions affect those, and how his family's actions affect things, and it's like watching an alcoholic go back to the bottle.
So, so to that point, then, Meredith, wasn't the first thing he said to Bronn, "Why did you save me"?
Yeah.
No, it's slightly better than that. So there's two things about Bronn that are so important. First was that point. He said, "I should have you killed," for almost getting him killed by throwing him in the lake, right? So he's kidding. But he's not kidding, because he didn't actually want to live. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the point of that line.
So I think we're seeing that character arc get set up. He's going to go out in some suicidal action. He may not be brave enough to take his own life that way, and he'll figure out some way that he can do it to take Cersei out as well to save the kingdom, or something like that.
Which brings me back to Bronn. Because she said there that you should punish Bronn or kill him or whatever, right, for betraying you, right? So if she insists on that in the next episode, he's gonna have a hell of a decision to make.
And he'll end up doing it.
Yeah. And
do you think he'll do it? No, I think he'll do what he did to Tyrion. He'll say he'll turn him loose.
No, I think that
he'll come back.
He'll probably be put in a situation where he has to swing a sword.
Right.
I don't think we're putting people in jail. And that answers your question earlier, by the way. People get put in jail, they never get out, except Tyrion, which is pretty important.
And Mrs. Dorne and her daughter, because we haven't seen die, because she's not going to die.
The daughter is, but Mrs.
No, she's not going to die. She had that. We forget. Somebody's told me on Twitter. Remember, she had the poison or the antidote for Richard, right? Or for Tyrion, for something.
After she kissed that guy.
After she kissed the guy, she kissed Bronn. Bronn.
Yeah, she kissed Bronn.
She kissed Bronn and she gave him the antidote. Yeah. She had it in her little.
Interesting.
So I wouldn't be surprised if she A, still has the antidote, and B, I'm just saying we haven't seen her die in 2 episodes. My hunch is she's not going to die. But Mrs. Dorne, whether her daughter dies or not, Mrs. Dorne is getting out of prison with her daughter or without her daughter.
Yeah, because don't put people in prison. Give me the gun, I'll do it.
So I wanted to say, too, while we're talking about Cersei, I want to just kind of acknowledge Lena Headey, who's just killing it here.
No, she's the best.
Good. Like she shows us this character that we loathe, who we see get, things happen that she didn't realize, and she lets you see it on her face, and then she shows us Cersei recover and keep plotting with these half-baked plots that, God love her, she sells them. And they work.
That leads me to an important theory about life. So I think that success, like traditionally, you think success in the real world is based on. And my dad super believes this, and I'm constantly trying to talk him out of it, but I can't. That you're really smart or you're hardworking, and all these positive
that
traits,
helps.
right? So that can help, but it depends. So in reality, the number one indicator of whether you're going to be incredibly wealthy, this is my opinion, obviously, is whether you're willing to do things other people are not, if you're shameless. So Donald Trump will just rob people over and over and over again. He has no shame, right? And so the Wall Street guys who did the wrong things, right? It's no shame, no shame. The reality show stars, Kim Kardashian, the whole Kardashians, how did they get famous in the first place? Literally no shame, right? So that gives, and I think that applies here too, that gives Cersei an enormous advantage. By the way, Dick Cheney, willing to do what others are not willing to do, torture, yada yada. Now, it didn't work in that we didn't win in Iraq. There was nothing to win, but it worked for him to gain power and execute his plans. And so Cersei is willing to do things that other people are not willing to do, blow up the Sept. And so that you should not underestimate what a gigantic advantage that is.
But to that point, the thing that gets in Cersei's way is her ego. And that's why we see her make these dumb mistakes. And we see the ego eventually trips up everyone else in these real world situations. I mean, we're watching it hopefully unfold in our own country. But I think, again, Delina Headey, who I adore, she plays that so damn well, where she's like, I'm in charge, I've got this, and then I know I should be making this better decision, but God damn it, I'm gonna do it my way. And I love it.
Yeah, so
that's why I love her.
Yeah, she's I mean, it is arguably the most memorable character in this
Cersei,
in this show of memorable characters.
So you guys are absolutely right, but let me go back to something we discussed earlier about Dinklage as an actor, because, and I don't know if this is a controversial thing to say, and I mean it only with the best intent, but sometimes, or a lot of times, unfortunately, people look at little people and see little people instead of a person, right? And so that's just, it's a hard thing to overcome, and I think Dinklage has just helped with that so much just through this alone. And I think that people, when they see Dinklage, they don't see a little person anymore, they see a person. And so, and I think that acting, I mean, it's almost like it's societal changing, it's culture changing. So I can't give him enough credit for that.
I think one of the strengths of Dinklage as an actor, but especially playing a character who was written as the height that this character is that he's shown a humanity that I think we don't often get to see. I mean, it does go back to one of his early roles, which The Station Agent, which if people have never seen The Station Agent, terrific movie, and seek that out. And it's similarly talks about the prejudices that, and just kind of the stares and stuff.
And it has dragons.
And it does not have dragons.
I'm thinking of something else.
You were thinking of something else. But yeah, he puts in this terrific performance, and Dinklage he's such a magnetic actor, right? And it's really a treat to get this much of him over the course of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, just over the course of the series.
Yeah, so we got to do the last scene here and wrap up, but one last thing about that. I don't know that there's anything in the world that annoys me more than people who think tossing little people is funny. Like that, I love The Wolf of Wall Street. I nearly vomited in that scene, right? And so, and I know guys, like there was a party where they brought in real life in Miami where they brought little people as a joke. It's not a fucking joke, right? And so now, partly because of this, and I might be overstating it, but that's in my bones, I feel it. Not just for what I think, but I think for what others think. That if somebody were to do that now, anybody who watched Game of Thrones might be like, what are you doing, man? That's crazy. Do you see what I'm like? And I'm probably overstating it, but that's the sense I get.
But that's one of the great things.
At his birthday party.
I brought him because that's who he is. He's a monster.
And he put him in
with put yarmulkes
so
on
they
him.
look like Ben Shapiro.
Yeah,
it was anti-Semitic too. So.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do the last.
Of course, we do live in a world where what we just saw happen yesterday. We kind of also thought that the big war that we fought to like kind of put that shit down, we thought people would have woken up and maybe not so much.
I mean, let's lighten the mood here a little bit before we go to the last scene, which is Matt's great meme. I don't know where they can see it. If they follow you on Twitter?
It's on my, I'll repost it.
Okay, so at Matt Atchity?
Yeah, I'll repost it and I'll retweet it from the What the Fleck account.
Okay. It's basically a meme of the White Walkers were supposed to be headed south.
We'll cut it into the review.
Yeah.
We'll cut it in. We'll cut it in.
And so you'll see the actual thing. So let me not butcher it for you. Okay.
The last scene.
So if you were gonna get badasses to go fight the White Walkers by themselves, you would get that crew.
Yeah.
And that's so you've got two people who don't die, right? You got the guy with the eye patch and Jon Snow, who could be brought back to life.
What happens when Zombie Mountain goes up to the north?
Oh yeah, Q-Born's own version of White Walkers.
Wait, what happens when who goes north?
The mountain zombie.
Oh yeah, he's already a zombie. But the Hound, the Mountain.
The brother.
Sandor Clegane.
Because remember the Maester brought him back to life.
Sir Gregor.
Yeah,
but,
so but he's not a zombie. I get it.
No, but I wonder.
But half-dead zombie Clegane goes up
do you
to the
think
north.
the Night King can control him?
I don't know.
I'm wondering.
Yeah, so that's an interesting point too. But and now that I said William Hurt's not long for the worlds because he's the guy in the red shirt among those 7 unbelievable characters. But remember, William Hurt's the one that brings people back to life. So if he's gone,
but that takes a minute. It's not just like, oh, he fell. Like that takes a bit.
No, I know. But if he's gone, that might mean that Jon Snow and the eye patch dude are both
in jeopardy.
When they die, they die.
So, Melisandre brought
Sir
Jon
Thoros
back.
can bring people back to life, but so can Melisandre.
Yeah.
Right, but Melisandre's on a different planet now.
We don't know.
No, she left Storm's End.
She left with a dragon.
I thought she said she's going back to her home.
Yeah, to probably go learn more dead raising magic.
But she's like, but then Varys said, that's a good place to spend your life, and she's like, no, I got.
We both die here.
Yeah, she's like, I got, but also like I have things to do. And
right, but didn't she say we're both going to die here?
Yeah, on Westeros. Yeah.
So she's got things to do, and then she'll come back and get killed.
Yeah. So I mean,
she'll bring a dragon back from the dead.
So this Magnificent Seven that just came out, the remake. I watched it, and I don't have time for a lot of movies. I got kids, yada yada. So I went out of my way knowing that it's not going to be a good movie, right? It's not going to be a movie where you're like, oh, that was really well done. It's just, it is what it is. I know what I'm getting with it, right? And because I love when 7 dudes take on the world. There's nothing better than that. That's movie gold. That's entertainment gold. And so here they are.
Does that have to be 7?
No, it does not have to be 7. But like they did it, and look, we'll put.
Does that have to be dudes?
No, of course not.
Because if Brienne was in that mix, let's be real, that would have been
awesome,
fantastic.
right? Or Arya.
Yeah.
That's or Dany.
Any of them would have been.
So you've got the walk like Reservoir Dogs. You've got the Magnificent Seven, obviously, and what was the 6 we were saying?
It's like the right stuff, the Mercury 7.
There's the right stuff. But anyway, I love it. But we did see the preview of next episode where they're running for their lives. That didn't look good.
No, obviously it's a tough task they're taking, but it's a.
So it's not like there's just 7 guys that they're after.
They're not going to find the straggler outside of the herd that they take down.
Because the whole, we'll talk. We have the trailer's a separate video we'll make, but the trailer was just essentially. There was a little flash of Arya and Sansa. But it's basically just them on their trip to try and capture a walker.
And you guys might know this. I didn't understand. Are they trying to catch one of the zombies or one of the Night Kings?
No, they're after one of the zombies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They're after one of the zombies.
Oh, right, because they had one of the zombies in Castle Black.
Right, which they'll then bring to Cersei. Will be like, yeah, I got my own, and this one's bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Cersei doesn't care.
No.
Right. She's got her. She'll be if it suits her, she'll.
Yeah, that's why that. So actually, come to think of it, that's another point I wanted to make, which is that if like they hatch this plot, oh, we'll get a hostage zombie and we'll bring it to Cersei and that'll convince her. No, evil is evil.
And so
like,
Danny's
no
right. Like
Cersei.
if we go north, she'll come here.
Yeah, no, she'll think that's wonderful. You guys go fight them, and then I'll clean up the pieces, right? There's no convincing.
You have the bigger army. You go first, and I got your back.
I'm right behind you.
I'm right behind you.
That's right.
And she also has her own like necromancer that she could try to tell, like, ask Qui-Gon, can we control them? How can we control this undead army? We have our own undead right here. Let's control them. She's that level of crazy.
Well, that actually then that's a really good point, and actually goes to the decision they made. Actually, is because maybe having her as an ally could help.
Yeah.
So one thing we haven't really asked yet, and as I'm thinking about it, so we know that the Night's King can raise dead from both sides and increase his army.
Yes.
Qyburn has brought one guy back from the dead. Why hasn't he done that with more yet?
It took forever.
Right,
Yeah,
but he
that's
knew how
right.
to do well, he figured it out though.
Yeah.
Right? It's not that it took forever, it took him a while to make it happen. So presumably.
Was he dead? Or
That's the
like,
other thing.
I think
We're
he
not
had to.
positive
I
he was
think he had
100%
to
dead.
invent the nearly dead, like invent the idea and bring this guy back. Right?
What's the deadline from The Princess Bride? Are you all dead?
He's
Right.
only mostly dead.
Mostly dead, right? I think he was mostly dead.
Oh, look how smart you are. So he has to find more people to blame.
Yeah, but right now he's actually had no one to bring back from the dead. No one's worthy of that. Yeah.
Right.
For all we know, just because.
What if he brings Cersei back from the dead?
No, he's
No. Who needs revived Mama Stark? We can just have.
But also, nobody would
revived
give this guy.
Cersei.
He should bring Cersei back because nobody's going to give this guy another job.
That's exactly right. I'm serious. He's the hand of the king.
Yeah.
He's never. This is as good as it gets.
No, he's like one of those kids from college kids who got identified as walking in Charlottesville. Like they ain't going to get hired anywhere else their whole lives.
He's Stephen Miller.
He's Stephen Miller. Yeah, that's right. He is, but he is a little like Stephen Miller. He looks like Stephen. He looks like Stephen Miller's dad.
The guy with the band. Steve Miller Band?
Steve Miller Band, yeah.
No.
Yeah, no. So we were joking around earlier that to go back to politics for a second, that Donald Trump saw the army of the dead and he, fighting with the people that are alive. He said many sides are fighting. Many sides. Many sides are at fault for this.
Yeah, a lot of people. They killed some of the White Walkers. And the White Walkers killed them. Just enough. Stop.
Anyway, so just super badass scene. Can't wait to see how that goes. And by the way, they might be running because they got him. They got the hostage, and they're now trying to get the hell out of there. And so
we got one.
Yeah. And just the John, as usual, makes the right decision there. We're all on the same side because we're all breathing.
Right. Kendrick's like, how can you say that? We're all breathing.
Right. Yeah. And what did these guys obviously didn't come? They came to fight because they had a vision. He's like, and you remember, Jon Snow's been trying to convince everybody, and they're like, yeah, whatever, dead people don't believe it, right? These guys are like, no, you don't have to convince us. We came to fight him. He's like, oh, thanks God.
Right, finally, he doesn't have to convince
I do love that Gendry is written as impulsive and dopey as his father had been reputed to be.
That's right. That's
right. Like, okay, don't you remember? You're Clovis. He's like, I'm Gendry. I'm Robert Baratheon's bastard.
Yeah, that was a great.
Right?
We're gonna bond because we're bastard brothers.
You're going up there. I'm going with you.
Right, Sir Davos.
Right? You guys? Oh, I gotta kill you guys. No, we're on the same team. What do you mean?
Okay, super last thought.
Rein it in, dude. Come on.
So Magnificent Seven go out there. Remember, they're all super badasses, but if any of them die, they go to the other team.
Yeah.
So if you want the Hound on the other team,
zombie,
right?
But we need the Hound just needs to meet the Sir.
Oh my God! So it's going to be.
He's got to survive.
Hang on, wait. Everybody wants the Clegane Bowl. It's going to be Zombie Clegane Bowl. Zombie Hound versus Zombie Mountain.
Yeah, like once you become once you become a zombie, like do you retain your old? Like are you like I hate that zombie, man.
Yeah.
We used to fight. We were neighbors. And his hedge overgrew mine. I mean, I know we're now zombies now, but I still hate that guy.
And
if they are, it's like Bran Stark.
Yeah.
Right. At best 25%.
And like, what differentiates like the walking, lumbering, like dead, and then you become like Blue-Eye Night King status?
So those are the ones. So the Walking Dead are basically like the drones.
Okay.
Right.
And we talked about this on the previous review. That's why they took the babies because those become the blue-eyed guys because you need real humans and stuff, not people who are already dead.
You need living to create the Night Kings.
Yeah, and we saw the children create the original Night King. Okay, so super exciting. Let's see how they do up there with the dead and. All Arya and Sansa and Bronn, and which way does Jaime go? Does if he's really put to a decision?
I'm still waiting for the Bran Bronn
matchup. That is the most unlikely of the bowls. So wonderful! Can't wait. We'll see you guys next week when we do the same thing.